First story. Found out my 55M wife, 56F, went for a Yoni massage. Recently found out my wife visited a massage place, and after probing, she confessed her intention was to get a normal massage. But the masseur started offering her happy ending service without her asking for it. She was tempted and enjoyed the moment. The encounter lasted for over an hour, and she enjoyed the long last finishing from he, as she describes. At this point, there's nothing to prove her innocence that she did nothing emotional with the masseur, and I'll never understand what actually happened. She also confessed that the masseur's sexual performance better than me. If I could do it better, things might not actually progress, like to justify the happy ending encounter. I appreciate her honesty, but this statement lingers in my head and they never go away. The reason why she was tempted was because we didn't had sex for 2 months. We both have high sex drive. Honestly, I don't mind having it daily, but sex with her was painful as she requested me wearing a mouth gag mask while encountering, during foreplay until she finished first. She's not a fan of penetrative sex, so that's another downside for me. So pretty much gave up, because to me it became a chore as there's nothing for me to enjoy. We are married over almost 2 decades, but dated for 1 year, and very much I still love her. However, I still can't get over the fact that someone I love did this to me. Though we both came to a mutual agreement that we are going to work it out, it's really hard for me to forget and forgive her. After her confession, surprisingly we have sex almost daily now, and it was one of the better sex we ever had as she learned to give head instead of only receiving my foreplay all the time. Though we have good amount and quality of sex now, physically, mentally and emotionally, it's like in heaven, and run away with her. We've been to a marriage counselor, and she was asking me why I so emotional and childish can't let her enjoy the happy moments, and I shared that perhaps I think all this happened cause of my fault. If I never deprived her of her needs, none of it would have happened. So I am trying to prevent the same thing from happening again by giving her more sex. She told me I am trying to take responsible for my mistake, and so after sex, my emotional and childish behavior started changing. I am feeling a whirlpool of emotions. I love her, I hate her, I resent her. I felt disgusted. We can have a happy moment together, but something snapped and I suddenly remembered this incident. I will turn all cold and just want to open myself to her. Although she makes an effort to love me even more now through her actions and words, but nothing seems to register in my head. It seems as though I have built a barrier against him subconsciously. I have become paranoid too. Where is she going? Is she coming home slightly late from work because she's really busy with work? Though I am definitely not like this in the past. Divorce is not an option for now, as we got married 2 decades, moved overseas to live and work, and we are still in love with each other. And marriage counseling isn't really helping me, as it's mainly just allowing me to express my thoughts, unpack and validate my feelings. Any ladies with experience like this with your partner, able to share what helps you overcome? Second story. She says it's emotional blackmail to ask her to cut ties with AP. Hello everyone. My fiance 34F left me 30M for my best friend 25M early June. I had suspicions prior to that event that were denied both by my fiance and my friend. She then spent 2 weeks at his place before suddenly realizing she had made a mistake and asking me to take her back because she was missing me too much. They broke up in good terms. I took her back, but I asked that she cuts contact with her AP. She says she would never ask me to cut anyone out of my life, that he's her friend, that I'm being too extreme, that he read about toxic relationships and what I am doing is emotional blackmail. I was supportive of their friendly relationship before D-Day, even when I had suspicions. But now I just can't. I went no contact with her and I need him to do the same. I feel like she wants her cake and eat it too. Yet I wonder if she's right. Is it manipulative of me to ask that she cuts contact with her AP? She also said I already chose you by coming back. that I'm imposing things on him, that there's no point on cutting ties. He is not a rival and I only see him as a friend now. Update. She agreed to cut him off after I showed her this video and asked her how she'd feel if the roles were reversed. We've both started not just friends, which have make him much more empathetic and understanding. She does not regret cutting AP now and sees how necessary it was, even though he did not in the first place. Everyone, thank you. Update. Obsessing over AP. 1 month and a couple days ago, my fiance left me for my best friend. She spent 2 weeks at his place and then realized she had made a mistake and came back to me. The relationship was simply not working and she was missing me too much. I took her back and agreed to reconcile. We've been working on this since then. My former friend, her AP, is very smart. We look nothing alike. I never felt threatened by this when we were friends and when I trusted her. We were simply different, but I felt like good for her. Now, everything he is and I'm not feels like a threat to me. I fear my fiancé might miss things he has and I haven't. He's a former model, tall, bulk with blue eyes that I know she finds pretty. I'm short with dark brown eyes that have nothing special. I've never disliked my eyes, but now I find myself obsessing over them. Looking for colored contact lenses online that look exactly like him. Trying AI to see what I would look like with blue eyes, things like that. My fiancé has been reassuring. She says she finds me prettier than he is. That I have a natural beauty when he spends hours every morning to look the way he does. That she finds my lower body more attractive, things like that. But I fear she's saying that just to make me feel better. I hate that I am feeling threatened by him and how I'm dissecting everything about me, my face and my body and comparing it with him now. I removed him from my socials because I was spending way too much time looking at his pictures. But I still have all the pics we took together on my phone from when we were friends, and I can't get myself to delete them. I'm not sure how to navigate this. Update. WP is unable to engage in a positive way when facing my traumatic symptoms. D-Day was over 6 weeks ago. We've been reconciling for almost 4 weeks. My traumatic episodes are intense and frequent, but I'm kinda proud on how I manage myself. I suffered from PTSD prior to that event and have been clinically followed for it for years, so I think I'm pretty good at managing my symptoms. WP's betrayal simply added a new layer. I make sure to apply the advices given by S-Glass on communication. Even when I'm breaking down, triggered, waking up from nightmares, I bring it up in a gentle way without accusing him. I focus on what I feel, what I remember and how it made me feel, stuff like that. But my WP's reaction to my traumatic symptoms are hardly helpful at all and just make me feel like I have to guide her, while barely handling myself in the first place. How do you efficiently guide someone into helping someone who's having a panic attack, while you are the one currently having the panic attack? Basically, he freezes. She avoids talking about the subject and focuses on superficial stuff, or doesn't say anything at all. She can be physically reassuring, but it's not efficient when she's avoiding talking about what's wrong in the first place. Here is something I wouldn't say to her. I feel so alone in those moments. It makes me feel like my reaction to what he did is a burden. In those moments I feel like once again, I cannot rely on her to be the healer of our relationship. I can only rely on myself. She's making some efforts, but her inability to communicate or be truly empathetic is taking its toll. She says that's unnatural for her to speak about emotions and feelings, and that he feels she can't do anything right when I bring up that I need her to communicate more. I need someone, her, to acknowledge my emotions instead of looking away, to tell me, I'm sorry you're feeling this way. I'm here for you, and then for her to be the one who does the talking, to console, comfort and reassure me. It's terrible because I feel like I'm always the one who has to be strong enough for the both of us. Sometimes I need to collapse and know that I won't be dropped if I do. I had a nightmare last night. It's affair related as always. I woke up in distress due to it. We are currently away from each other, which is very hard for me and contributes to my anxiety even though I know AP is currently in her hometown. Her answers are erratic and once again when I'm in distress, I'm only facing silence and awkwardness. Update. WP's doing good and I'm feeling hopeful. After a rocky start about 7 weeks post D-Day and 5 weeks into I'm glad to say my WP is doing good. She's been listening, she's been answering my questions, reading the books, doing the work. She's been improving his communication skills lately, and it shows. She's careful, she's kind, and she stopped acting defensive. Sex is amazing. She seems to have periodical spikes of guilt towards what she did to me in the state in which she left me, which leaves her shaken. I don't take any pleasure in seeing her like this, despite having fantasizing about her being sorry after D-Day. Yet it makes me feel seen. On my part, I would lie if I was saying I'm fine, but I'm coping most days. I have nightmares 3 over the past week. I've very much triggered every hour of the day, and spiraling most of the time. Yet to me that's coping. At least I don't spend my time crying anymore. She's handling them better now. She's there. She asks me about my nightmares, and she doesn't deflect the conversation towards details or unimportant things. It helps a lot. My anxiety is very high still, and I still have a lot of questions. I wish she would tell before I ask, but at the same time, I barely would know where to start, so maybe he wouldn't know either. Update. Wayward fiance cheated on AP with me? I still have a hard time reconciling the vision I had of my wayward fiance before this whole thing started, during the time of the affair, and after it ended. There are a few things that are hard for me to digest. Context: WP left me for one of my best friends, realized he had made a mistake. Came back after 2 weeks because she missed me too much, for specific reasons I won't necessarily discuss much here. But basically the sparks of their connection faded when facing various aspects of reality, and many things he had with me were just not there. All the events here took place 5 weeks ago. Before the day I took her back Sunday, she had sent me a long text saying that she was regretting her decision. The next day, Monday, we talked and I asked if they were still together. She said they had left each other on a mutual agreement on Saturday. Recently, she told me 2 things. That Sunday, she was still with him and acting like a couple. They didn't have sex but they kissed, maybe cuddled. The next morning she came from his place, where she had left his stuff in case I wouldn't take her back, and picked me from the train station. She brought him home from work the same day but they didn't kiss or anything. She dropped him and went back to our place. She did not take her stuff back at that moment, which I don't understand why. They did not see each other alone after and they officially broke up by text on Thursday. I feel like she duped me and robbed me of my agency and ability to take an informed decision. I would not have agreed to take her back if I had known she was still dating him. I was made to believe they had broken up. I am not sure she realizes how fucked up it was to send me a text to get me back while still acting like a couple with him. I have zero sympathy left for my former friend and to me. This whole ordeal is just her getting back to what he shouldn't have left in the first place. But as much as I hate to say it, technically, WP cheated on AP with me during these few days. And this is making me sick for a few reasons. I feel complicit in something I condone and blame him for in the first place, which would be going for a guy who is your best friend's partner, or anyone's partner for that matter. WP has been apologetic for betraying my trust and leaving me in the first place, as well as wrecking my relationship with my friend. She has gone NC with him since then, as did I the day I discovered my fiancé had gone to him. But he doesn't seem to get why this whole timing thing bothers me so much, or is a problem at all, for that matter. Anyway, sorry for ranting. I just feel anxious and spiraling. We're far away again. I was already spiraling yesterday. I don't want to be a burden by texting or calling him about this whole thing now. Update. Double betrayal and lack of closure. Hello everyone. Today I'm not going to talk much about my WP, but about her AP. I was double betrayed, and I have to double grieve. He was one of my best friends. Things are healing with WP. She's answering everything questions I have. She's helping me making sense of that whole thing. I now have a pretty clear vision of what he did, why, what vulnerabilities she has. Even though there still are some dark areas that I will need to make light on one day, I will never have that type of closure with him. I still am in the dark as for why she did what she did. I have speculations that are pretty pessimistic but yet plausible. WP doesn't disagree with them, which doesn't mean he agrees. I actually don't understand what he thinks when I speak about my feelings and analysis towards him. She listens, but she gives no inputs. Like, we were friends. He told me things he never told anyone. I was there for him when he got broke up from his previous toxic relationship. We almost moved in together at one point. We took motorcycles repair classes together. We had dream planned vacations and events we both wanted to attend together. We saw each other a lot. I believed we shared values. I thought I was important to her too. I had suspicions before D-Day, but I thought it was only my fiancé who had a crush on him. She is the one I had doubts about, never his. Never 1 second would I have doubted him. When I told him about my suspicions, he told me I was one of his most important friends, that he would never engage in anything that could hurt me, that if my fiancé tried anything he would tell her to fuck off. He even started reflecting why WP would even think he was interested and be like, oh, at one point I did this joke. She must have mistaken it for flirting. I'll be careful not to joke again so she doesn't get any ideas. And I thanked him. He took my hand. He said I'm very loyal in friendship and I would choose our friendship over anything without hesitations. And I cried on his shoulder thanking her again for being such a good friend. The very same night, WP spent the evening with his and they had sex. Hypocrite. Did he ever care about me? Was he ever a friend, or was this a plot to get to my fiancé? Did he spend time with me only because of his fear of being alone, only because he likes having a court of admirers who are there for her and value him? I valued him. I found his amazing at his work, and kind, and pretty but not in a jealous way, in a so good for you way. Now all I can think about is how he was a fraud who stole his best friend's fiancé. He got shouted by his second best friend for that, so at least someone gave her consequences. I'm grieving a friend who never existed in the first place. Update. Just leaned my wayward fiancé never actually intended to marry me. Bear with me, I'm feeling all kinds of emotions and I'm all over the place. Today, I asked WP fiancé if he had been downplaying our relationship to AP so he could get her. She admitted she did. She also admitted something that really hurts. When she asked me to marry her, she didn't have the intention to actually do it. It was more she wanted a ceremony more than marriage in her mind. She asked me proposed because she was afraid I'd take a job opportunity that would have me move away and leave her. This is a real punch in the face. I appreciate her honesty, but at the same time, what played in my decision to reconcile is that I believed she was strongly committed. Her asking me to marry her a few months ago was what led me to believe that she had just strayed from her original committed path by cheating. Now I'm like, she wasn't even committed in the first place, and I've been lying to myself about the nature of our relationship. I'm not going to call her my fiancé anymore. What are we even now? I feel robbed from my agency once again. For just a girlfriend, for someone who had no intention to really commit, I'm not sure I would have stayed. I can't even talk to her right now. I just feel like running far, far away and hiding somewhere. I feel unable to communicate with her. I just feel raw pain, anger and disappointment. Do I even know that man? I'm with my other workout buddies right now. We've been calling and texting every day, but today, I have to talk to them at some point. I'm not even sure of how I'm going to justify not answering at all today. I don't want to say I was too busy to answer, because I don't want to be the liar that she is. I don't want to say the truth because I'm scared that if he gets discouraged, she'll stop being dedicated to art or will stop her efforts of being transparent when communicating. And at the same time, I feel illegitimate in my anger. She was just being honest about our relationship before D-Day. It doesn't say anything about our relationship right now. It doesn't invalidate the work that's been accomplished since then. Nothing changed. I just have a clearer view of the past. I still feel like the very foundation of our current better improved relationship is built on a lie. Sorry for this long rant. I don't even know what I need from this channel right now.